All right, we've got another Trump appointment, and this is one that is probably going to surprise a lot of people because he was not on any of the lists that were floating around out there. And there had been some discussion that President-elect Trump was having a little trouble making this final decision, or maybe this is the person he had in mind all along. But he has now nominated Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz as Attorney General of the United States. He just wrote this on Truth Social, quote, Matt is a deeply gifted and tenacious attorney, trained at William and Mary College of Law, distinguished himself in Congress through his focus on achieving desperately needed reform at the Department of Justice. Few issues in America are more important than ending the partisan weaponization of our justice system. Matt will end weaponized government, protect our borders, dismantle criminal organizations, and restore Americans' badly shattered faith and confidence in the Justice Department. So we're going to get some folks on the phone to get reaction to this. Fortunately, we still have Steve Hilton with us. Steve, you know, we have been all kind of looking at different people that we had heard were in the mix for this position. And no doubt this is a surprise to a number of them who thought they were in the running. Your thoughts?
Well, the first reaction was, wow, President-elect Trump is really going for it. I mean, this is a very, very strong appointment. And exactly as he said in his statement, all those things he said about Matt are absolutely true. I'd like to add something that our audience may not know about Matt Gaetz, because, of course, he's so familiar as a firebrand. I think it was his book even called Firebrand. I think he's called himself that, and a bomb thrower politically. But actually, he's very, very smart on policy. I got to know that when I'd have him as a guest on my show over the years. I remember the very first time he came on my show, and we had him on for a particular topic, and during the break, I asked him about the next thing that we were going to discuss. It was a completely unrelated topic. And he immediately came out with some incredibly smart policy-based observations that were so impressive. And I said, great, join for that discussion as well. And I've stayed in touch with him over the years. He's very smart. He knows policy. He's a serious guy. He doesn't always necessarily show that because he goes for the jugular politically. But it's wrong to dismiss him as just a political firebrand. He's much, much more than that. There's a depth to him that doesn't always come across.
You know, I think that what can be said about a lot of these picks, Steve, is that they will definitely cause all of the people, whether it's at the Pentagon or the Department of Justice, they are sitting up straight in their chairs right now wondering what this is going to be like. I'm just picturing Matt Gaetz, if he is confirmed, walking into the Department of Justice for those big get-togethers that they have with new leadership and what the reaction is going to be. And I'm guessing that you will probably have some people who say, I'm not necessarily going to stick around for that chapter.
Yes, and he would probably say, good. But exactly as we were discussing earlier, this is what the country voted for. It was a clear victory, a decisive victory. And this is what Donald Trump was saying all the time in all the rallies. He was specifically in this particular area where Matt Gaetz will now play a leading role about the weaponization of our justice system. And again, let's go back to the point. The insiders and the establishment will say, this is how could you do this? This is completely appalling. Well, how well have they been doing running things? It's been a complete disaster. Merrick Garland's been a disaster as Attorney General. Yes, he's very qualified. He's a kind of establishment guy, was previously nominated as a Supreme Court justice, et cetera, et cetera. But on his watch, the confidence of the public in our justice system has completely collapsed. And so even on the base level, you could say, well, how much worse could it be? But I think it's going to be much better than that, because the phrase you used earlier, I think, is such an important one. It's a brilliant phrase that captures the energy here, a reform jolt. That is what's needed. That's what is needed right across the government, a real shake-up. And you're only going to get that from people who are incredibly clear in what they think and will lead in a very clear direction. Some may not like it, but it's what people voted for last week.
Yeah, and I think Mary Catherine Ham just brought up the exit poll, our Fox News voter analysis, significant upheaval. People who said they wanted significant upheaval in the way that the government is run. I think people are so sick and tired of, watching how much it costs, how many of their tax dollars are spent, and not seeing huge results for that in terms of a stronger country, a country that's more efficient, where, our intelligence is the absolute best, our justice system is the absolute best. So very interesting. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of people who are not too happy today who thought that they were in the running for this spot, but that's life. That's the way it goes. And this is his pick. So we'll see how it goes moving forward. Steve, thank you very much, Steve Hilton,
Martha,
for joining me again.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.